Hey, what's happening? It's Bill Smith. There's been a number of breaking news stories connected to the Nxivm sex slave indictments. There's been a few big names that have been added to the same charges. So this is an actual PDF of the indictments that came out today. It's the same thing in court. They just added names to it. It's a superseding indictment. The United States of America against Keith Raniere, also known as, quote, Vanguard, Clare Bronfman, Allison Mack, Kathy Russel, Lauren Salzman, and Nancy Salzman, also known as, quote, Prefect, defendants. Now, the most interesting thing that stands out when you read this is that Keith Raniere and Nancy Salzman have aliases attached to them and quotes. Keith Raniere was known as Vanguard, and Nancy Salzman was known as Prefect. Now, Lauren Salzman is Nancy Salzman's daughter, I believe. Kathy Russel was the accountant. Allison Mack was the Hollywood star who was on Smallville. And Clare Bronfman is the name that stands out as a huge, huge, huge person to have on something like this. She's the daughter of a billionaire. That's crazy, right? It's Seagram's alcohol money. So it's the heiress to the Seagram's alcohol fortune. Now, I'm going to skip over this. We'll come back and read through this if we have time, but I want to read through some headlines. So it's been picked up on a few different spots. Bronfman, Salzman, and two more charged with federal crimes in the Nxivm probe. I don't want to spend too much time on this. It covers some of the things I've already just mentioned. I just want to kind of scan it and get it into the record so I don't have to come back and look at it again. You can pause if you'd like to look at it. Okay, I want to start from the beginning. Now, on March 27th, Fox News ran with this article. It's titled, Nxivm Cult Leader Coerced Women into Sex, Branded Initials on His, quote, Slaves, authorities say. And this person was the original charge, him and Allison Mack. And this guy's name is Keith Raniere. Now, there's a lot more stuff attached to Keith Raniere. And here it says, Raniere, who is also known as, quote, Vanguard in the organization, formed a secretive group within Nxivm that had women join a sex master club called Dominus Obsequisorium, which translates to master over the slave woman. Ooh, edgy stuff. Now, usually you're not sure how these people are connected. So the odd thing is that these people connect to the Clintons. And most people will latch on to the connection with Nancy Salzman. So this is her website. She was involved in the Clinton Global Foundation. And she was pretty much the CEO of Nxivm. Here's a link to it below. Here is the website for Clare Bronfman. So I spoke about her. It's pretty clean. This is just her official blog. I thought I'd toss this in there. She says that she sits on the Nxivm's executive board, manages much of the day-to-day business. The crazy thing about Clare is that she has her own Wikipedia page. So I'll leave all the links. If you'd like to come explore this content yourself, there's a lot of interesting things here. You can find the Nxivm indictment here on Wikipedia. It's an easy place to find the whole thing. And I believe it's very, very up to date. That's the one I showed you. Okay. Now, I mentioned Keith Raniere. And after this story ran on Fox News on the 27th of March, this story came out on Times Union. And this was on April 13th, just a couple weeks later. Feds accuse Raniere of having sex with underage girls. Prosecutor said Raniere kept a Mexican woman locked up for 18 months. Federal prosecutor said Nxivm founders Keith Raniere's decades-long history of abusing women and girls is among the reasons he should remain in custody without bond while his criminal case is pending. All right, there's more stuff here. let me get this in there. It says, in one instance, the defendant met a 15-year-old girl while he was in his 20s and had repeated sexual contact with her. Now, after those two developments on this timeline, right, the media timeline, this comes out. Stormy Daniels. Now, it turns out that Stormy Daniels has a Nxivm brand. She was part of this cult, and Stormy Daniels was connected to Trump before the election. So that seems very, very odd. The interesting thing is how this story was leaked out. The first mention of it was on a Chan board. The second mention of it was on Backchannel 17's Twitter account. The third mention of it online was Neon Revolt's personal blog. So that's how this story started to leak out. The interesting thing is now we're in July, so this is July 8th, and there's an official story that gets leaked out. This is on artvoice.com. It says Larry Shea. This is a man who claims he attended a Nxivm mixer with Stormy Daniels, Weiner, Schneiderman, Huma Abedin, Keith Raniere, and Allison Mack. And it's saying this guy's a liar. Okay, I'm less interested in that. I'm more interested in the fact that this guy says that he was at a Nxivm mixer with Stormy Daniels, Anthony Weiner, who was married to Huma Abedin, she was Clinton's personal assistant, right? And Anthony Weiner was a congressman, Democratic congressman, and Schneiderman was a Democratic Attorney General of New York and just had to step down on sex assault charges. So I don't know if Larry Shea is a liar or not, but the fact that they mention this on artvoice.com enough to discredit it makes me want to go dig in deeper. Now, it turns out it does line up with Stormy Daniels. So here's a tweet off of hers. She says, I think I'm about to be initiated into a gang, or maybe it's a cult, LOL. And that's nothing to speak of here except for people found out that she actually has a brand. So there it is. You can't see it very well. You can come check out this photo yourself. I'll leave the search link. But she has a brand underneath that tattoo. And the tattoo is a full tattoo. So this is the picture it's from. And it's a popular tweet. Many people have seen it. It was tweeted at 8:01 p.m. on the 18th of February 2010. Odd times. Odd timestamp for something like that to be there. It just kind of caught my eye. There's more here. Another interesting thing that you may or may not know about is that people are talking about her having attorney fees, and she says that she's not the one paying him. Ha ha. This is an actual tweet. I verified it. That was on April 26, 2018. I think other people have reported on this in the past. Here's the first part of that tweet, I think. So Stormy Daniels has a Nxivm brand, and the media is going to have a difficult time explaining that connection. They're already in this other article calling it a liar, but there she is with a brand on her, the Nxivm brand that all these other sex slaves had, people part of the sex cult. Now this is where it gets even more interesting. This article is from October 1st, 2007. Not 2017, 2007. This is 11 years ago. It was written by a man named Charles Hurt on the New York Post. And it's titled, Hillary's $30,000 fans are her, quote, cult following. Now, this is before the Barack Obama election. This is when Hillary Clinton would be up for that during those primaries that she lost. She lost those primaries. And this article is incredible. It's amazing. Okay, it says a purported pyramid scheme operator who was run out of Arkansas when Bill Clinton was governor has reinvented himself as the head of an upstate group accused of being a, quote, cult, and his devotees have pumped thousands into Hillary Rodham Clinton's presidential run, her first presidential run. Executives and top associates of the Albany-based Nxivm Group, along with their family members, donated nearly $30,000 to Clinton's presidential campaign. This is back in 2007. The Nxivm sex cult has been connected directly to Hillary Clinton. It's been documented in the mainstream media since 2007. I mean, there's amazing stuff in here. I don't have enough time to go over all this. I'll leave the link. You can come read about it. But this is back in 2007, and in 2007, it's mentioning at least 3 of them. Group President Nancy Salzman and the Bronfman sisters are members of Bill's charitable organization, the Clinton Global Initiative. Membership is by invitation only and requires at least a $15,000 donation per year per person. They were a member, a paid member of the Clinton Global Initiative since 2007. And here they are in 2008, 11 years later, being brought up on charges in a federal indictment. They've been arrested. They've posted bail. Okay, this is the interesting part. It says that Keith Raniere used to own this thing called Customer Byline, a marketing firm which members were paid commissions for recruiting new members. So he has a background in recruitment and pyramid schemes. A 1992 Arkansas lawsuit filed by Bill Clinton's then Attorney General, Winston Bryant, charged Raniere, this other guy named Kafritz, and 2 others with fraud and business deception. Soon after, then New York Attorney General Robert Abrams sued CBI, branding it illegal. Raniere admitted doing nothing wrong but paid hefty fines. Okay, so Clinton has known about Raniere since 1992, and Raniere and these other people, Salzman and the connections to the Bronfman sisters, those have all been part of the Clinton Global Initiative since at least 2007, probably sooner than that. So these relationships go back very, very far. This is all starting to get kind of weird, isn't it? Okay, now I'm gonna show you something on Snopes, because I don't know anything about this, but if Snopes says something, it kind of makes me want to go look. There's a rumor they're talking about. It says, did Allison Mack confess she sold children to Rothschilds and Clintons? A real case of sex trafficking charges involves a Smallville actress, was mixed with fabrication and exaggeration to produce guaranteed clickbait. The interesting thing about this is none of this Nxivm conversation has really brought up the Clintons, even though they have deep ties to all these people on an individual level from multiple different angles. Like, it's not just from one spot. They all kind of converge together. So, I mean, there's so much more here we could talk about. That's so much deeper than that. Let's take a look at the indictment. Here's some of the things that are in the indictment. Count 1, racketeering conspiracy. Conspiracy. Like, this is actual conspiracy, not conspiracy theory. This is racketeering conspiracy. We got conspiracy to commit identity theft, conspiracy to alter records for use in an official proceeding. So I think this is like part of a cover-up. I think it actually had to do with video. Here it is, video recordings of Nancy Salzman. So there was video recordings of her doing something that they got rid of. Here's some more stuff. Encouraging and inducing illegal entry and money laundering. Human trafficking and document servitude. Trafficking of somebody for labor and services. But buried down here on page 12, we get to the good stuff. Sex trafficking, forced labor, and state law extortion. I just do not have enough time to get through here. You know, there's so much stuff in here. It's a long deal. Laura Salzman is mentioned a lot. Clare Bronfman's mentioned a lot. Conspiracy to commit identity theft. It looks like they were trying to entrap people into just forced servitude. They're just trying to control people. They did this by stealing their identities. Getting them to do things, to forfeit things, to go into debt by taking these classes. The sex stuff is definitely the biggest hook. Okay, so here's some stuff, man. It says inducing shame and guilt in order to influence and control members and associates. Obtaining sensitive information about members and associates in order to maintain control over them. Recruiting and grooming sexual partners. Using harassment, coercion, and abusive litigation to intimidate. crazy stuff. I'll leave the links. Until next time, it's Bill Smith. Thanks for